So we've had our Model Y for about 4 months now and over 6,000 miles we've driven it, and so I have a few likes and dislikes of our Model Y after owning it for 4 months. So let's get started. I'll start off with the dislikes because I want to get those out of the way. But first thing is the piano black console. They have fixed this for the new Model 3 refresh, but I very much dislike the piano black on the center console. It is a fingerprint magnet, and that is why I actually decided to do a vinyl wrap for it. So I'll actually have a video coming out later this week going over how to put the vinyl wrap on there and how it turned out, but I highly recommend the vinyl wrap. So you can change that up because the piano black is just never looks clean no matter what you do. As soon as you clean it, it looks dirty minutes later. So that is definitely a dislike that I have for the Model Y. Dislike number 2 is the firm seats here in the back of the seat. They are definitely firmer than the rear seats in the Model 3, and that is unfortunate because you are much more likely to want to have more people in the Model Y because there's more storage space. So it's better for a road trip car. There's more space, and so you're more likely to have possibly adults sitting in the back seat, and it is unfortunate that those seats are not as comfortable. It does have the reclining seats, so that's nice, but they are firmer on the bottom, so that is a disadvantage. There is no kick for the trunk release, so it is a power trunk. That's on the like list, but there is no toe kick feature. So on our previous vehicle, the Pacifica Hybrid, you did actually have the ability to do a toe kick under the rear bumper and it would open up the trunk. So that is definitely a feature that we miss from that minivan that is not on the Model Y. So it's not the end of the world, but if you're carrying a lot of stuff and you need to open the trunk, it really is pretty annoying that you have to either get your app out and press the button, which is a lot of work, or press the button on the trunk release. Now again, it is power, which is a like, but it definitely would be better if they still had that toe kick feature that the minivans have. And the last dislike that I have for now is the no voice command functionality for the glove box opening. There's no excuse, Tesla. Why haven't you fixed this? There is no voice command available for the Model Y to open up your glove box. And on the Model 3, I can do it all day long. So, not sure what that is about. Hopefully, they will fix that through a software update. But for now, that is still on the dislike category, even though I basically never use that functionality. It's kind of fun to use it, honestly. Alright, so those were the dislikes. Now let's get on to the likes. There are a ton of things that I really like about the Model Y, but overall, it is just my comparison to the Model 3, because I loved the Model 3 when we got that and was really excited about getting the Model Y. I guess maybe in the dislike category is the fact that the Model Y is a lot better than the Model 3, and it's not actually my vehicle. It is my wife's vehicle, so maybe we should put that in the dislike category, but that's just really just jealousy. So anyway, first thing in the like category is that power trunk that I talked about. Again, that was a dislike, that it does not have the toe kick in the Model Y, but it does have a power trunk, so it can power open and power close, which is a great feature. Very helpful. You can do it from inside the car on the app or just by pressing the buttons on the trunk itself. So those are definitely better than the Model 3 that we have, although again, they did release the refresh on the Model 3, so you do actually have a power trunk on the newer Model 3s. So that is a great feature. Again, I wish they would have put the toe kick on there, but again, power trunk, awesome feature to have. So the next like, most obvious one, the Model Y has a ton of space, so it is a lot bigger than the Model 3. It doesn't look like it on the outside, but as I've done a few video comparisons of the space, there's clearly a lot more room in the Model Y. a lot more room for storage, and it feels a lot more roomy inside in the seating area. So a lot more space, that is great. And another thing that we found is that the Model Y is quieter than the Model 3. Again, another thing that they've probably fixed with the Model 3 refresh, because they did talk about some new glass that they're using to reduce the noise. But the Model Y that we have as compared to the Model 3 that we have, the Model Y is quieter, and I think it's mostly due to the fact that they have better construction of the vehicle, but it's really hard to say. Maybe it's just because it's newer. Either way, it is quieter, so I do like quieter is better, definitely. Another thing, because of the more space, the higher raised up seats and everything, you do get a lot better visibility in the Model Y than the Model 3. That's just the nature of being in an SUV versus a sedan. It's definitely, you're higher up, so you have more visibility. I really do like the fact that you have more visibility. That is great. So another like that we definitely have for the Model Y is the fact that it has well over 300 miles range. In fact, this most recent release gave us 8 more miles of range. So anytime you get more range is great, but the fact that we have a great road trip car that is all electric now, and with over 300 miles range, it is fantastic for road trips. It is so easy to get from supercharger to supercharger. You have plenty of range to spare, so that is very convenient. And I really love the fact that now we can do road trips 100% electric and not have any range anxiety. I know you have to do, like when we did road trips with our Model 3 Standard Range Plus, and you're really looking at about 200 miles between charges at most. You really got to plan out your trips a lot better than the Model Y, because the Model Y is it's super easy to just kind of go with the flow, let the navigation in the Tesla just tell you which superchargers to stop at and how long to stop there, and it works out really great. So I love the range in the Model Y and the efficiency of it. It is actually more efficient than I would have expected. We were expecting it to get 300 miles of range for the rear wheel drive, which they still have not released, and instead it had the dual motor coming out with 316 miles of range and now 326 miles of range. So it actually has much more range and is more efficient than we had expected. So that is a great surprise and something I really love about our Model Y. All right, another like about the Model Y is that it has the satin black trim around the outside. So the door handles and the mirrors and the trim around the windows is all satin black instead of the chrome on the Model 3. Again, something that they have fixed with the refresh, but our Model 3 still has the chrome on it, and honestly, I never did like the chrome. It's fine, but it just seems a little bit dated in my opinion, and even when we got it, it felt a little dated. So I definitely like that they have switched to the satin black trim instead of the chrome trim. It definitely looks better in my opinion. Last thing I really like about the Model Y is the tow hitch. So we did actually order it with the tow hitch already installed, so it's ready to go. And it is great because it's built in to the Model Y instead of it being an add-on that kind of goes below the bumper there in the Model 3. So we do have an eco hitch that we had to install ourselves on the Model 3, and it worked out fine and we liked it and everything, but the fact that it is mounted below the bumper actually creates it a situation with our particular driveway where it's low enough that you basically cannot go out of the driveway with bikes installed on there because it will scrape. So it's just too low. And also we don't have the hookups for a trailer. We would have to put the wiring harness in there for the trailer if we wanted to do that in the Model 3. But the Model Y already came with that, so it already has a wiring harness for a trailer, so we can hook up with lights and everything, and we use it all the time for our bike rack on there. And because it's higher up, we can put it on in the driveway and drive down the driveway without it scraping. When we get out of the driveway, we do have a steep driveway, but it is much more convenient in the Model Y, and it does have a little cover there on there that you can just put on and take off, although that cover is pretty flimsy, and I don't really like it very much. Probably gonna have to get a new one. So there it is, the few dislikes and likes for the Model Y after 4 months and almost 7,000 miles. We do really love our Model Y. It is the best car that we've ever owned. There's just no comparison, in my opinion, to a Tesla. It just has all the features that we were looking for. It's 100% electric, and you can go on road trips with that, and it's got plenty of room here in the Model Y, so it's great for a road trip. And one thing that I really love about Teslas is that you constantly get software updates. So even if you did not purchase full self-driving, for example, you're constantly getting new features such as voice commands for different features in the car, and different settings and safety features that they add over time, as well as different apps and games and everything on there. So you're constantly getting software updates for the vehicle, so it just constantly gets better. Whereas every other vehicle we've owned before Teslas have just gotten worse. You know, the day that you got it, that was the best the car was ever going to be, and every day it just got worse and worse. Whereas with a Tesla, every day it's getting better and better. They're releasing software free to your vehicle to make it better and better. So we really love the fact that we have cars that are not going to really age nearly as poorly as other vehicles. Obviously, you're going to have wear and tear on any vehicle, but the fact that your software is continually updated in the Tesla means it is constantly getting better. So there it is, just a few dislikes and likes on the Model Y. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.